like we are live this morning. Good morning. It is 8:30 in the morning on November 18th, and it is the kickoff to Computer Science Week in JCPS or across the country. Danielle, tell us more about that, Computer Science Week.
Yeah, it is across the country. Nationwide. We observe Computer Science Education Week the first week in December. So we are super excited about that.
Awesome. So this is our kickoff show. And so we've got some very special guests today. We've got Jermaine Watkins, a former JCPS grad, who is he'll tell you more about his role, actually, what he does in a minute. We've got Glenn Francisco joining us from where is Glenn joining us from, Danielle? Help me out here.
He's joining us from Brookline, so one of our state agency schools.
Very good. You've got to be my Hodakotbi on this, because we got to go back and forth. All right, very good.
Got it.
And so, and then also I believe we've got one more person joining us this morning to talk about computer science, or maybe not. We were going to have Katie Teggy on from Dunn, but Glenn has joined us now, which is perfect.
Yes, awesome. Perfect timing.
All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Danielle, who's going to just pump us up for Computer Science Education Week.
Yes. So like we said, Computer Science Education Week is an exciting week to get your students coding and to get your students involved in computer science. So this is the ramp up to have careers in computer science, like one of our special guests, Jermaine Watkins. He is a former JCPS grad. He graduated from Dawes High School, but I know he went to many JCPS schools. But just his story alone will encourage teachers and students to get involved in coding, to get involved in computer science. And he can tell you a little bit more about his story a little later. And we also have Glenn Francisco. He is an amazing teacher at one of our state agency schools, and he is always willing and ready. Anytime I reach out to him, he says yes, that he is willing to share his knowledge. So again, this is going to be an exciting show. I'm going to quit talking right now. And first, we're going to talk about our teacher experience. So we're going to start with Glenn, and then we're going to turn it over to Jermaine Watkins, if that's okay.
Sure. All right. Let me see. Now, is my sound on?
Yes, It is.
Yep.
And I'm going to try to present my screen today and see if that works. Let me know if it does. I think last time I had somebody else do this for me. So, can you all see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Great. All right. So what I thought I would do is kind of go over. Last week I talked a bit about Codeorg and some of the advantages of using it, and it's really one of my favorite tools to get kids started in coding. And today I'm going to just show you how to get it set up. I'm a middle school teacher, so I'm going to be kind of giving it the perspective of a middle school teacher. This is also maybe some good methodology for other teachers who have multiple different class sections. Okay, so let me go ahead and start here. Is my screen big enough that you can see it okay?
Yes, it is. Do you mind presenting, or is this okay for you?
I'll go into present mode here.
Okay.
How's that? Can you see that? Okay?
Yes,
right.
And then can you click the hide button? CC hide is right there on top, and then go to CC. Do you see closed captioning? You hover at the bottom again, and then CC captions. It's one more, right there.
And we're gonna do
large and top.
Large.
So large,
and top. Okay.
Yes.
All right, cool. I've never done this before, so
it's okay.
All right, this is great. All right.
Yeah, and then press the button, and then you're good to go. So press the actual CC button.
Right here, right?
Yes. Right there.
Sweet.
And it's working. And click allow, sir.
Yay. All right, great. How's that?
It's great.
Oh, wow. Oh, I can see my words. Oh, that's so cool. All right. So in Code.org, when you're setting up a section, what you want to do initially is, and there's two ways to do this. You can set it up as a Clever Classroom, or you can set it up as a Google Classroom. And both of those will sync your section. So if you've got, like I have 7 different sections of classes that I teach, each one of these, both Google and Clever, will sync your classes on it. Well, you have to go in and actually manually update these, I believe. And periodically you go into the gear during, after you set it up, maybe once a week, and make sure your sections are up to date. With my school, I've got kids that turn over quite a bit. So we've got kids leaving and then entering our program. So I've got to update this quite often. Most other teachers won't have to do that. So anyway, to get set up here, I've already got my class rosters in, but to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the create a section button here, and it will ask you, it'll prompt you what you want to enter. So you'll choose whether you're going to do a Clever sync and a Google sync. I'll explain that in a minute. I choose Clever, and I'll explain that, why I do that. And then I'm adding my section. And then you put a grade number, and then you choose a course. My favorite course to start the kids off with, if I'm teaching a really rigorous, comprehensive coding course, is I choose start off with course A in the standard course. And you'll see, I'll explain that in a minute. I choose Clever, and I'll explain that, why I do that. And then I'm adding my section.
Melody.
Grade number.
Do you mind turning off your sound? Thank you. There we go.
Wow, that was cool. All right, so then once you've got it added, then you'll have your list of your rosters here. So I'm going to scroll into the next screen here. So this is where you're going to choose what you're putting in here. So you've got your course, you've got your grade, and then you've got your course A, and then the version. You'll have students who have done Code.org maybe before, and they'll have other versions in here. You want to make sure you're using the current year version, which is 2020. Paired programming allows you to have kids work together in teams. So if somebody is having trouble, and this is especially useful during NTI, that you can set it up to pair program, and that allows a student to invite another student remotely to join them and collaborate and solve a problem. So if they're stuck on a particularly hard thing, they can work together to solve it. I think it's an awesome tool for NTI. All right. And I was mentioning earlier about Clever or Google login method. I like Clever because Clever adds some analytics that allow you to look and see what students have been logging in at what time. Clever has a dashboard, a menu dashboard. And at the top, if you click analytics, you can see when kids have logged in and how frequently they're using it, which is an enhancement, I guess, to what Code.org also allows you to see, which I'll show you in a minute, student progress. All right. So from there, once your sections are added from this dashboard, the gear next to each section will allow you to view student progress, manage and sync student rosters, and print completion certificates, which is especially great for their backpacks when they get done with a section, and it gives them a little bit of pride. Wow, I've got a certificate, you know? So let's see, tracking student progress default view. This is what you're gonna see if you go into in the gear and you do view progress. You'll see this screen here. Now this screen on this default view, I don't think is as useful as this other view. And I'm going to take you down. If you click on this levels section here, you'll see quite a bit more detail. And this is the detail I like to look at. And you can see here, there are little dots that go across. This is kind of like your dashboard for the kids' progress. If they get, and this is a key down below here, it shows you what their progress is. If they have an open circle, like some of these kids do up here, that means that they haven't started yet. Outlined circle or outlined diamond tells you that they've started it, but they haven't done any work yet in it. Completed means, and if it's grayed in, it's not quite dark green, but it's kind of a shaded green. That means that they've they've created the steps and the procedures they need, but they've used too many steps. So they really need to go back. It's done, but you can coach them to go back and try to make it more efficient, their coding that they're doing. And finally, the green one is what they're all trying to achieve, which is a completed lesson. All right, demo. All right, so now that's how you can watch and see what the kids are doing. Now, before you actually assign a lesson or you tell the kids what to do, I highly recommend this. Going in your dashboard as a teacher. Now, you're going to be logging in as well with Clever and going to code.org and then seeing your dashboard there. In that view, if you scroll down a little bit, there's a section called My Courses. If you click on View Course, you'll see a screen like this. And this is where all the sections are laid out, and the things that you have done to examine are shown below in the dots. So these are the same, I guess there's sub lessons that the kids are going to be doing as well. And so let's say that your lesson for today is tell the kids, hey, I want you to work in sequencing. I want you to get lesson steps 1 through 12 done today. Well, this is exactly what you can do now. You can go in here and click one of these and then just kind of see what they're going to be working on, so you know what kind of questions you might get as a teacher during the day. And so, for example, this is in lesson 2, sequencing, step 9. And so I pulled this up, and what you have here, this is called block coding. And block coding is a really cool way to get all kids started coding. And even I've got a lot of students who are probably kind of on the lower end of the learning spectrum and maybe have some learning disabilities and reading issues and stuff like that, all kinds of issues, right? So, but the graphical interface allows them to just see and understand how things have to sequence together. And for example, here you see a house, and the house puzzle pieces are not quite in order, but they're prompted to see, how this is all going to fit together. And so then they manipulate by dragging a piece and clicking it where it belongs and dragging the other pieces. They can see where the top and then the middle and then the bottom go together. And this is sort of how coding is going to work for them too. They're going to see step 1, step 2, step 3, and you'll see in a minute what I'm talking about there. All right, next page. This is a sample lesson on section 4, step 6. This is where it's starting to get a little bit more advanced now. So at this point, now they're going to start doing, which Code.org does this a lot. Mostly it's a game where kids are trying to navigate a sprite through a maze. And the maze gets progressively more difficult, and they have to do a series of navigation steps to get around an obstacle, for example. And this one is using this character, and it's multiple modalities. It's like there's sound, there's you experience it, and it's really quite fun to actually do this. The kids laugh and stuff. It's really cool. Anyway, so you got a squirrel, and you're trying to get into the acorn. In order to do so, you have a section here where you have when run. You're going to click a run button, and it's going to execute these steps. And so the kids are learning now, okay, I want to do something. When I click run, it's going to set off a chain of events that need to occur. I need to determine now which events are going to go in which order. So as you can see, you've got a squirrel. He's got to move a couple steps to the right, or he could even go down and then to the right. Now, right represents east. So, you can also talk about navigating east, west. You're going to be doing that a lot with the kids too, talking about east, west, north, and south. So in this case, 2 steps east, right? So we've already got that done. He's almost there, but he has to do one more thing, which is to go south. So in this exercise, they're going to see that they need to snap in, drag and snap, and S down here. Then when they click run, of course, it's going to execute and do what it's supposed to do. Now, that said, block coding is really super cool, and it leads into all kinds of other opportunities. One of my real big favorites, and I'm really excited to talk about this at some future digital innovation training session, is Minecraft. And we've done a whole lot with this in my school. Last year, all the kids have been able to do all the coding in Minecraft. And this is an example of a coding project that you might do in Minecraft here with block coding. You have a chat command where you tell the character what to do, and then you have a series of steps that execute here. Kids are right from the beginning able to make chickens rain from the sky in Minecraft and all kinds of cool stuff. That's all I have to say for today. Are there any questions or comments?
There are not any questions in the chat right now, but you do have a fan base in the chat. I know it's Candace Wren. She is joining, and Elaine Abernatha. They both talked about how awesome you are. So thank you for sharing what you do with your students.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And I know that,
they are my biggest fans. Candace.
Yeah, she is awesome. I love Candace. So I know that we have Melody Walls. She joined us. She is a teacher at Lockoff Elementary, and she might share a few words with you about why she implements coding and how she implements coding as well.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I started using Code.org last year with my students after I went to the Code.org training at Camp Edwards, and they love it. One of the things that I did that I've done this year in my new position in the STEAM lab is I've been able to get everybody K through 5 on it. So last year with my kids, they were starting as 5th graders, and it was kind of new to them. And I know Code.org kind of gives you guidance about the grade levels that go with, what courses to start with each grade level. So I actually started my kids off a little bit lower. I started them off, I think, in 5th grade on course C, but they absolutely love it. And one of the problems I know a lot of us are getting is we're like 15, 16 weeks into NTI is student engagement. So that's been really big for me, especially as a special area, because we're kind of, once they get so a lot of times once they get their classwork done, it's like, oh, I'm done with all my work for the week. And I've gotten so much positive feedback about Code.org and how much they love coding. Once they've kind of started, even my kindergartners, they love to get on. They started with course A. A couple of my 5th graders have asked, could I move them up to another course so they can work on other things? They'll send me an email asking if they can work on different projects. Can they build a sprite? Can they see if they can figure out the apps? So we're working on trying to get teachers to kind of embed it more in their classroom and see, how can you bring this in with math, or how can you bring this in, like Glenn was saying, talking about, cardinal directions in north, south, east, and west, and trying to really, because it really does integrate really well with all of your content area classes as well.
Yes. And thank you for that. And talking about integration and talking about with our math and science, we do have Jermaine Watkins. He is the Chief Technology Officer at WeatherCheck, and he experienced those coding opportunities in computer science as a JCPS grad. So we would love to hear from you, Jermaine, and thank you so much for being here.
Hi, and thanks. Yes, so to start off, I think I started off I don't know if you guys remember the huge snowstorm that occurred back in the early 90s, but there was a game that I was playing that really kind of started my interest in coding. Then from there, I actually did programs at JCPS that fostered technology, and then I ended up going to Dawes High School and doing a pre-engineering program to really just stay connected with technology. So I'm currently the Chief Technology Officer and co-founder of WeatherCheck. WeatherCheck is a startup company out of Louisville, Kentucky. Recently, we were selected in Google's first inaugural Black Founders Accelerator. We're a Y Combinator company. And a lot of things that I do there with coding is lead our software development team, and I still code the product that we have. So, and the product that we have is a software that detects when you have hail damage or when a property has hail damage. So I can't, it's been an amazing ride being in a startup, and it's all because of computer science. I've kind of have an unconventional, probably background in computer science. I was self-taught probably the first 10 years of my career, and then actually went back when I was at Yum Brands, when I was thinking like maybe I wanted it like a career job, and actually got my degree in business information systems from Indiana Wesleyan. So I guess it's kind of a weird path because I already knew how to code before I went back and got my degree, but it was like, hey, degrees are important. But I love coding because it's always challenging. Like it's always like a series or a problem to solve. It's just like a nice puzzle to just like put your mind at. And it's actually, for me, it's actually relaxing because it's like, all right, I've got to figure out like, how do I do this or how do I do that? And I feel like it also keeps you young because you're always challenging yourself to figure out the problem. And sometimes I guess it does come with stress when they're deadlines and your boss is like, oh, I need this now. But it's fun when someone actually uses it and you can like see the impact that you have on users, and you can see people, they're like, oh man, that was great. That helped me so much. Or like, hey, you figured out our vacation home was damaged and we were able to get someone out there fast without there being a lot of damage, and it saved us a lot of money. So there's always like, when you create software, there's always, I feel like at the end when you help somebody, you get this like joy out of like seeing people use it. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for that. And I kind of wrote down some quotes that you said, that coding is relaxing, and just the impact that you have when you code something on those stakeholders or on anyone that you have an impact on. But I do have a question for you, and that is, what advice would you give to students or teachers as they are, I guess students and teachers, one, as students are experiencing coding, and then the second, as teachers are encouraging students to code or to participate in computer science, because we know computer science is not all about coding?
That it's a journey. So like I remember like the VTech, like pre-computer 1000 that I got stuck with during the big snowstorm. I was really just like programming like this guess your age game. And I think I was like playing games a lot, or just like wanted to, I wanted to learn how to like, think every maybe kid wants to figure out how to be a video programmer in the beginning, just to make games. And I think it's just about like having fun and just exploring and allowing yourself to explore. It's like, it's not something that you're going to immediately step in and know everything. And you got to just be okay with that and just enjoy the journey.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And I know that Melody and Glenn, they teach students all the time, and I know they are having fun in the journey, as you have said. Melody or Glenn, do you have any other questions to ask of Jermaine? Okay, so Russ is about to put in the chat the link that is on the schedule, and that is and I can share my screen really quick, but that is the website to the computer. Let me stop sharing that screen.
So just real quick, Codeorg was founded in January of 2013, and I can remember being in the classroom and being an early adopter. It was really cool. If you had like 5 or 10 kids finish a course, they gave you like a $150 DonorsChoose.org gift card or something. It was pretty awesome. And so I know I got like a new table because I had like 5 kids finish that course that year. So it's been around a while. It's amazing to think it's been around since 2013.
Yeah, and I know they used to give out prizes for participating in Hour of Code as well. So that is a really great foundation, and their cause is perfect. So the site that we are showing is the JCPS Code site. If you have not taken a look at that site, there are a lot of resources there. On the homepage, you will find a show that we did last time to kick off Computer Science Education Week. But I just want to show you, if you click on Hour of Code at the top, just getting started, we want you to register on Hour of Code because we want JCPS want to know how many schools are participating in Hour of Code, and we want to be celebrated in the state of Kentucky as well. The second step, get your entire school to participate in Hour of Code. All means all. So all employees at your building, all students, everyone involved in your building. And then the third step, we want to fill out the form. So how many students have participated in your event? And also step 4, share all of the ways that you are coding on the Twitter hashtag. So that's JCPS Dig In and Hour of Code. Lastly, the digital innovation team, we would love to co-teach with you. So there is a short form, just very, very short form. If you put your email address and name, your location, the date and time, and if you're not sure of that date and time, you can put NA and someone from the digital innovation team will reach out to you as well. And since we are an NTI, choice boards were created surrounding coding, so there are different options available to you. Please feel free to make a copy, to share, to tweak it however you want to. This is a start, or feel free to just assign it to your students as activities. Because remember, our goal is to get students learning how to code and just to introduce them to, just for a brief moment, in coding and computer science. And you will also find more resources available to you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to ask Glenn, Jermaine, and Melody if they have any final words they will want to tell our audience.
I think I would just say, don't feel like you have to have gone through all of the courses yourself to get your kids started with it, because they really love it. And honestly, they'll probably be teaching you things about coding and about Code.org and finding things. So even if you feel uncomfortable with it, you should still go ahead and get started, because the kids are so excited to learn about it.
That is great advice.
Yeah, and I would add that once you get started, it just kind of snowballs itself, and the kids together, you know, like she's saying, they help each other, and they actually help you as a teacher. I know one experience I want to share from last year is that we started with Code.org. Candace Wren really got me started with that, and I really appreciate her help in doing that. But from there, we went into Minecraft, and we did some coding in Minecraft, and it was amazing. The kids will get a book and read about Minecraft things, and then everyone's kind of challenged to try to outdo each other. And one thing that happened last year was the kids figured out a way to teleport out of these areas that I had them working in. And so I had to come up with a way to stop. So it was a challenge. Everyone was challenged to try to outdo each other. And that's the cool thing about coding. It just builds on itself.
Awesome.
One thing I would say, or one thing that I'm reminded of, is like the quote that Steve Jobs said, that don't worry that it doesn't work right away. If everything did work, you'd be out of a job. So I'm always like, it's okay that it doesn't work. I just got to get through it and just keep focused and just keep chugging away.
Awesome. And thank you all so much for joining just to kick off computer science. I know that this will be an exciting week, and I greatly appreciate all of you all. And I know that I learned a lot from all of you all just by being on the show during this brief time. So thank you so much. And now, just FYI, if anyone needs any help with coding or computer science, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself or one of your digital innovation leaders, and we can assist you and support you. So now I will turn it back over to Russ.
All right.